Sometimes we come from a history of sin that is beyond our control. This story is about a young woman who tried to break the cycle of sin, only to find herself part of it.
My mom was a single parent. She raised my older sister, my younger brother, and myself on her own, and she couldn't cope, so she abused drugs quite a bit. She was very, very abusive, and that's kind of where my story starts. My mom was very absent. She was in the house, but she was not a parent. I started taking care of my brother when I was about 4.5, and it was shortly after that I remember changing diapers, and then it was more full-time when I was 10. I left when I was 15, and I decided to complete my high school while working, and college as well. I got my diploma in finance, and from there I started working. I got a really good job with one of the biggest banks. I was working in their head office, and I was making really good money, and about 6 months in, I ended up quitting my job. I was looking around and I was really good in sales, and I was approached by this guy who I had met through mutual friends. He was working for this multi-level marketing company. He was supposed to teach me what to do, how to be successful. Somehow or another, he had convinced me to start working in strip clubs. So my mentor in this multi-level marketing company, he ended up becoming my pimp. From the strip club, I was moved into a hotel, and from the hotel, I ended up being held captive in a condo. That's really when I realized this is not a situation I want to be in, but I couldn't leave because I was terrified of what would happen to me or my family. I just didn't know what to do. And honestly, I can't even tell you how long I was there. The guys that would come to see me, they ranged from young men up to very old men. They were just from all different walks of life. Some were professionals, some were, just regular people. I definitely think that these men are to blame. The reason is, if they didn't have money to put on the table, then these women, they wouldn't be trafficked. There would be no need for a pimp because there's no money. In the beginning, I always thought that I could leave whenever I wanted. And I think it was a lie that I told myself just to make myself feel comfortable. They did some pretty awful things. When I really started to realize that there's nothing I can do, I knew my only way out was death. And it wasn't until one random day, and I have no idea why this happened. The place I was being held in was raided by police from a different district than we were living in. He had gotten arrested, actually fled the province. That's when my phone started ringing all the time. I was getting phone calls with threats and Facebook messages and text messages. And I walked into a police station. I just wanted to file harassment or threats or whatever I possibly could, where I could just put their names on file, I ended up reaching the end, and I was like, listen, what if we file human trafficking? That's when the entire police station just stood up and they all started moving around. And it's all of a sudden everybody just wanted to help.
Laura is taking her pimp to court and is pressing charges of human trafficking. Her heart for Christ has given her strength to face the demons in her life.
It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me, for sure. And it wasn't until after I had left that situation, these guys, that I actually had my encounter with God. Once I had my encounter, I started to realize that really He had His hand in everything, because there were so many situations that just don't make sense, but they do now. Sometimes it seems like you're alone, but really you're not. There are, like I said, there's people you can talk to, but, just even praying and just having faith in God, that definitely can help. And, God is the only person who can change everything in an instant. And, realistically, if you end up in a situation like this, just call out to God.